What's up, guys? Today we're doing a video on Joe Burrow, and I wanted to do one of these all season, but early he was hurt, and up until lately he wasn't that interesting. But now he's got back-to-back wins against the 49ers, great team, and the Bills, good team. And both were in primetime, and everybody watched, so now the hype is getting crazy out of control all over again. I wanted to do this video because this game sums up Joe Burrow's career. It's a big win over a big team in prime time, and everybody watched, and it was awesome if you rooted for the Bengals. But Joe Burrow didn't really do anything, and I feel like this keeps on happening over and over again. And then I say Joe Burrow's not really doing anything, and people say you're a hater. So forget all that. We'll cut to the chase. We can argue later, but first things first, let's watch some film. The Bengals are going to get it started off with a couple of screens to get this drive going, both of which go for like 10 yards. Like, Joe Burrow has thrown the ball -3 air yards, and he's got 20 yards passing already. That's offense. The Bengals are going to be past midfield before Joe Burrow even looks to throw downfield, and still, he's throwing to the line of scrimmage. So, again, -3 air yards, looking at 25-ish passing yards. Here, Joe Burrow is actually going to throw downfield, and this is a good play. You'll see at the top of his drop, he has to step through some pretty immediate pressure. He does a really good job of stepping up and through, and typically right about here, right there, most quarterbacks would be sacked, and Joe Burrow would be sacked most of the time, but he does a good job of keeping his balance and bailing out of the pocket. Now that he's reestablished himself, he can play a high-low read with the one defender between him and his receiver. Does a nice job of dumping it off to T. Higgins. Solid throw plus pocket movement. That's just good creation, right? It's not that it takes good arm talent. It's not that it takes good brain power. It's just that he kept the play alive, and if you keep the play alive long enough, things will open up. See 21 right here, Jordan Poyer has to decide, do I tackle the quarterback who's going to run, or do I guard my receiver? He picked wrong because there's no right answer, and Joe Burrow does a good job of making him pay. The Bengals are going to run the ball really effectively, so now they're inside the red zone. And here, top of the drop, plenty of protection, two receivers open, both in a line, right? So right here, you've got your curl and your corner, and both are going to be open. And Joe Burrow chooses the curl because it's safer, and I'm not certain he has the zip to throw to this receiver over here. You would have to sit him down in the coverage, and you're going to be on the goal line, and you might even score a touchdown, but it's a more difficult throw, and Joe Burrow is not really about making difficult throws, especially into tight windows. Nothing wrong with it. Simple routine pass, perfectly adequate processing, gets to his first read, and it's open. Routine throw. All right, and finally, this drive's going to get capped off with a touchdown pass. You can see because of how low the safeties line up to how close to the line of scrimmage, it's going to be man across most likely. That ends up more or less being the case. And Joe Burrow sees that Jordan Poyer is completely flat-footed right here, and therefore he takes advantage, throwing the lob ball, letting his receiver, his actually very fast tight end, run under it, wide open, solid throw, good anticipation, arguably slightly better than average arm talent needed. It's a solid play. It's not special. A lot of quarterbacks make that play. But credit to Joe Burrow for making it and not throwing an incompletion on this drive. Granted, he had one, maybe two impressive passes. A lot of routine football. Bills will come down and tie the game up on the next drive, so the Bengals are back in action. Tie game. Let's see what they got. Here, Burrow does a good job of getting the ball out while being hit, so plus pocket movement. Let's see the tight copy to see exactly how this ball was placed, because from the wide copy, it's difficult to tell, and on a tight window like that, ball placement is everything. That's a hell of a throw. Chase has got to catch that, and typically you would expect him to. Solid throw. Only 9 yards downfield, but great placement makes it a solid throw. Here, the Bengals are going to engage in a little bit of trickery, and this is a relatively far downfield, very routine throw. Literally nobody's covering him. And it's behind. Let's watch the tight copy. You'll see it's actually not a good throw as far as ball placement goes. If you lead the receiver upfield, you got a lot of yards to get after that catch, and it got taken away because of a bad throw, honestly. We'll give it routine, but we're being generous because it's Joe Burrow. Burrow's going to get a little lucky on this one. He gets pressured and he doesn't handle it super well. So right here, pretty immediate pressure. He could have hit Chase on the curl up at the top of the screen, and depending on which quarterback engages in this play, a lot of people would be bitching, but I think that that's too far along the progression on this particular bench concept. So Burrow's going to bail out of the pocket, and at this point he realizes it's over. Just get the ball the hell out of here. And he throws the ball away, but look at where it lands. That's dangerous, man. I mean, that's really dangerous. Go to the tight copy to see exactly how close the defender was to catching this ball. You could argue it's very safe. I won't call it a pickable at all. I think it's a plus pocket move throwaway. He did a good job of getting the ball out and not getting sacked. However, Joe Burrow's arm strength almost bit him there. It's worth noting, right? How sustainable is it that he can do that play? It looks like he's barely capable as it is. So keep that in mind. Again, it's a throwaway with a plus pocket movement. It's a positive play. And this is lovely. This is another very solid throw. Clean pocket, quick read. Look at that anticipation. Boyd is just now coming out of his break. He's about 15, 20 yards away when the ball is released. On a dime, 12, 13 yards downfield. It's about 15 yards downfield. That is lovely. Solid throw. That's the Joe Burrow people talk about. Here's more of that routine stuff. Simple curl, really easy. Nobody's ever missing that. And so Joe Burrow's accuracy looks really good tonight. A lot of it's really easy throws. Now, he has hit all 3 of the downfield attempts he has attempted. But they weren't one of them was difficult. The other 2, not so much. So when we're going to give Joe Burrow credit for being accurate, maybe we should be giving his receivers a lot of credit for constantly being open and his coaching a little credit because everything's really simple. These are early reads, short throws to open receivers. And this one's just bad. This is bad. Right here at the top of his drop, Joe Burrow is looking directly at a wide open curl for the first down. And even if he's not, you put this ball up here, and you've got this one-on-one matchup, you're probably going to get a touchdown. At least a 50-50 proposition. Instead, what the fuck is that? That's too low to be a back shoulder ball, right? Like, that would hit the defender in the back of a nameplate. So that's just a bad throw. I don't know if it's bad decision-making. I don't know if the ball slipped out of his hands, but this is atrocious. People love giving Joe Burrow a ton of credit for his processing. So let's see how he processes on this play, because we just saw him miss and process poorly on the last play. Top of his drop, clean pocket, soft zone defense. So you've got a couple of decisions here, right? Without diagramming the full play, these are the 2 receivers that are going to be open. You've got the curl at the bottom of the screen, and you've got T. Higgins running this in across the middle from the outside at the top of the screen. Now, Joe Burrow is looking down the middle, right? He's trying to hit Chase on this post over the middle, but it's not open, so he needs to quickly move off of that and realize that his curl is probably a little too late because he doesn't have the velocity of a guy like a Justin Herbert or a Josh Allen who can drive it in there, and he needs to throw the in to T. Higgins at the top of the route. He doesn't. He's looking at him, but he doesn't trust himself to hang the ball in there, and maybe that's fine. It's only going to be a 2 or 3 yard gain. So he bails out of the pocket, and that's a good thing. This is a plus pocket movement. It's a good job of him extending the play. Right here, T. Higgins is now wide open. He's run 50 yards, and number 30, I believe that's Dane Jackson, can't hang. Burrow does a nice job of making the routine throw, and T. Higgins turns it into either a touchdown or gets very close. From here, you'll see quite exactly how easy this throw is. So again, that's a very clean pocket. Burrow bails out. It's not skittish. It was about time to bail out, but he didn't have to bail out in a rush, right? There was no reason to panic at any point in this play. And then here, T. Higgins is wide open. That's a very easy throw. And sure, Joe Burrow could have messed it up, but I could have gotten a speeding ticket on the way home from work. I didn't. You're not congratulating me. That's because both things are expectation. Plus movement, routine throw. On the next play, Bengals throw a screen. That's pretty routine. Honestly, the ball placement's bad, but it's hard to throw a bad ball on a short pass like that. Bengals will go back to the air on the next play, and I want you to watch Jamar Chase out of the slot right here towards the bottom of your screen. He's open right here. Burrow needs to have the ball out, zipped low right here. Burrow's a little bit late. And because he's late, he leads him right out of bounds. Let me show you the tight copy so you can see just how open Jamar Chase was and why this is a bad throw. Right? Because it's caught, but it's out of bounds. But the reason it's caught out of bounds is because Joe Burrow waited too long and didn't have enough velocity on the ball. Jamar Chase has tons of time to stay in bounds if the ball's in time, but it's not, and so he can't. But don't worry, the Bengals' offensive line will clear things up. Next drive, we're going to start off with kind of a tweener. You could say that this is good. You could say it's routine. It's Joe Burrow. People accuse us of bias. We'll call it solid. But, I mean, just look at how wide open this throw is. There's no special part, anticipation, arm talent, velocity, accuracy. This is something everybody can do. 2 yards of separation on a curl. Come on. Really simple. Motion screen. All right, you see this line? This line means it's third and about 8 or 9. Keep that in mind when you watch this play. So, good protection. Note the line to gain. It's third down. Clean pocket all the way through. Now, I understand you can't throw this ball. T. Higgins is being double-teamed. You got the underneath zone. No go. And I understand that both of these are difficult throws. This one's not viable. That one's not viable at all. Tight coverage, shorter than sticks. I would really like to see Joe Burrow throw this ball to Jamar Chase. Watch again. Jamar Chase in the slot at the top of the screen right here is about to break. The linebacker still hasn't passed off the slot receiver Tyler Boyd. I think you could loft that ball over the slot's head and get it to Jamar Chase for a first down. Instead, Joe Burrow makes a poor pass to the tight end at the bottom of the screen. Watch this. Ball's behind him. It's low. It's underthrown. And now you want your tight end to pick up 10 yards after the catch to get a first? That's arguably bad, right? It's a routine throw in terms of accuracy, but it's bad decision-making, it's cowardly, and you're effectively deciding to punt. It's not even a good pass for what it is. Luckily for Joe Burrow, Josh Allen's going to throw a terrible pick, and Burrow gets the ball almost in the red zone. As you can see, the Bengals are setting up yet another screen to Jamar Chase, right? Right? Not quite, because this blocker is actually running a wheel curl. And it's going to be one of the easiest throws you've ever seen an NFL quarterback make ever. It's late. It's got no velocity. It's not even accurate. It's not good in any way, but it's enough because the play design is that good. There's nothing that they can do. Right? Jamar Chase has been tearing him up on screens all game, and he's been tearing the entire NFL up on screens for years now. So you have to bite, but when you bite, nobody's covering the tight end. It's just genius play calling. It's a very routine throw. It's extremely untalented on Burrow's part. But here it's 2nd and 1, and Joe Burrow sees that there's nobody on the defensive line. So he audibles to a quarterback sneak, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. That's a negative run. Not only did Joe Burrow get stuffed, but he also audibled to the play. Look, it's the right process, but evidently he doesn't have that juice. After a couple penalties, it's going to be 3rd and 16. They had a false start and then a holding. And so Joe Burrow is just going to throw the easiest pass you've ever seen. Routine is all hell, and kick a field goal. Psych, there was a false start or offsides on the defense, so Bengals get another shot, and Joe Burrow's going to get sacked. Now, I don't think this one's his fault. Sets up in the pocket, nobody's open yet, certainly not enough for a first down. Burrow could throw the fade up at the top of the screen, but it's a little early even for that. This is where the ball should be gone. But at this point, I can kind of see why he's panicking. He steps up and he runs right into a sack, and yeah, if you watch Ja'Marr Chase at the top of the screen, right here, he wins. He's got a step. Burrow needs to loft that ball up. It's poor anticipation. It's poor pocket presence. I don't know. I don't want to call it a negative sack just yet, but it was not good. That's for sure. This throw sucks. That throw sucks, but this throw should be picked. Right, some motion. Try to throw off the defense. Burrow thinks he has single high coverage. He's right. He's got a one-on-one with Ja'Marr Chase. He underthrows it, so Chase never gets to a sprint, and that ball lands in the safety's hands. Let's see the tight copy. It'll probably give you a better view. So it's going to look like Ja'Marr Chase doesn't separate on this play, but it's because the ball wasn't thrown far enough downfield, so Joe Burrow didn't give Ja'Marr Chase a chance to separate. Right? You got to track the ball. You can't just run as fast as you can. And see right here, that ball goes right off the fingertips of the safety. Interceptable pass. Josh Allen threw a pickable ball. It got picked. Joe Burrow threw a pickable ball. It didn't. It's a big difference. Here, super routine throw. Easiest thing of all time. Yet another routine throw. Super easy. This play is insanely fucking tricky, and I honestly don't know how to grade it after watching it a couple times. Nothing's really there for Burrow, so he does a good job of escaping the pocket, right? That's a plus pocket movement. But right here when he throws this ball, his receiver's got upfield leverage, right? Let's back up a frame. So as these lovely arrows indicate, you can see that the receiver actually is upfield, so he's ahead of the defensive back, and he's outside closer to the boundary, right? So theoretically, that means you're going to want to place the ball up here, right, and let him run under it, and he'll beat the receiver, or he'll beat the defensive back in a race to the ball. Instead, Joe Burrow releases this ball, and now you can clearly see that the receiver is ahead of the defensive back, and this ball is going to end up behind everybody. And it's not even a back shoulder throw, because a back shoulder throw, you would lead back towards the boundary. Now, when we get to the tight copy, you'll see that's not what he did at all. In fact, Joe Burrow led this ball back into the defensive back. This is a terrible throw. And yes, the receiver almost made an incredible play to catch it, but again, the ball is upfield, so like in towards the center of the field, and it's short. Right? Joe Burrow puts this ball here, and he should have put this ball here. Right? Or if you want the back shoulder, here. It's a universal failure of ball placement. It's terrible accuracy, and if it's not terrible accuracy, it's a terrible, terrible decision. Joe Burrow is too smart to be that dumb, so I'm assuming he just missed. And that happens. But if that's going to happen, you can't call him extremely accurate. That's a bad ball, and he's missed one downfield now. No matter, the Bengals are right there to pick him up because a super, super routine little dump off to the tight end who's completely uncovered turns into a long touchdown pass. Please, I am begging you, tell me which ones of these passes are super impressive. Where's the great ball placement? Where's that killer instinct and the clutch gene and the downfield accuracy and the great processing? It's all early reads. It's all open passes. It's all dinks and dunks. Routine is all hell. They go empty with a little bit of motion, and Burrow just wants to run. And he does a really good job. But let's see what he had open as a passer. Because if Joe Burrow is going to succeed long term, it's not because he's a great runner. Use some motion and realize you got some man. Everybody mans up. little bit of pressure, I guess. That's a clean pocket. Burrow should stick in that pocket, but alas. He gets out, and here he's got an open crosser and an open curl. I actually like the decision to run. I don't think either of them was easy enough to get a first down with, and he did a good job of outrunning the defense. That's a positive run. Like, there were passing options, but I don't think they were as good as his running option, considering the fact that he is an underrated athlete. Yeah, kept his eyes up too and looked for the pass. That's a good job. That's good processing. It's a good job of managing the pocket under duress. On this play, it's important to watch T. Higgins in motion. Right, he's going to scream across the formation, which means nobody can really cover him, and then they're going to throw the screen right to him. This is a Mike McDaniel special, and the ball's actually terribly thrown. It's way behind him. It stops his momentum completely, but it's still T. Higgins on a safety. It's a routine throw. It's not even good ball placement, but the play is so good, the receiver is so open, it doesn't matter. Who needs arm talent or accuracy or consistency when you can just win with scheme? That's exactly what the Bengals do. The scheme is great, and then T. Higgins makes a good play after the catch. Here's a fun one. Joe Burrow finally tries to make a difficult throw. This is his first really difficult throw of the day. Right, so he lets go of the ball at his own 35. Ball lands at about the 10. So it's a 55-yard throw, 45 yards downfield. That's not crazy. Look at how underthrown that is. I want you to watch, see already. Look at Jamar Chase at the top of your screen. He's wide open. He's like pathetically open. As long as this ball leads him, it's a walk-in touchdown. And Joe Burrow turns it into an easy pass breakup. Goddamn near an interception. If Dane Jackson gets his head around, that could go the other way. Now, he never will. That's never how it works. That's a bad pass, and it's because Joe Burrow lacks arm talent and he lacks accuracy downfield. This is mostly just the product of having a very weak arm. Look at how open that is. And frankly, if Joe Burrow had been smart, he could realize, I don't have the arm strength to get it into the end zone, right? Because as it is, he ends up throwing the ball here. And if he throws the ball here, it's a touchdown. But you know what? There's a different option. I understand that it's really hard to throw the ball 60 yards in the air. Only really good quarterbacks can do that. Dane Jackson is outside of Jamar Chase. I think that's Micah Hyde. He's about 30 yards away. So put this ball here. Up the middle of the field, same depth that you actually hit, but now Jamar Chase can shield the defensive back off from the ball and basically create a post-up opportunity for a much easier catch. But no, bad ball. And Jamar Chase almost steals it. It almost gets caught, but only because Jamar Chase is a freak and not because Joe Burrow made a good throw. Right? That's where we have to separate the receiver's, success from the quarterback's. Here, super pedestrian routine throw. Get a little third down action. Haven't watched this play yet, but we know it's going to be a pass because it's third and long. Burrow gets batted down. Burrow actually gets a lot of balls batted down, even though he's 6'5". This just is another installment of my grand thesis on how getting balls batted down has more to do with the offensive line, more to do with the play selection than the quarterback's height. Bad throw. Routine. Little safety blitz. Burrow does a nice job of throwing the curl. That's solid. Right, it's anticipation. It's 8 yards downfield. It's pretty goddamn easy. Yeah, the ball placement's real good. We'll call it solid, but it's barely. And that's how almost all of Joe Burrow's above routine throws happen, right? They're all 8 to 10 yard curls. He's really good at throwing 8 to 10 yard curls. It's a really big bodied receivers who just box out the corner and win at the catch point. Speak of the devil. That one's a little shorter, a little bit more open, certainly routine. Good job of moving the pocket. although your curls are open and you have let them lapse, right? They've expired. They're no longer open. Moves, makes a bad throw. Tried to force it to a receiver that wasn't really open. If he would have thrown the ball to his running back, number 25, at the bottom of the screen earlier, this would have been a much easier first down to pick up. Instead, Burrow fails, makes a bad decision. Ball needs to be out right here. I don't know what the fuck he thinks he's doing with this fake run or whatever. I don't know if he's feeling pressure or if this is part of the play. I can't imagine it's part of the play. I think that he just panicked. And because he panicked, he missed the short curl to Evans at the bottom of the screen. That's bad on Burrow. It's bad processing and it's bad accuracy. The Bengals are going to go for it on fourth down despite their lead. I don't know how intelligent I think this move is. And right here, top of the drop, nobody's open. 87 looks open, but he's actually running kind of a funky, I'll draw it. It's meant to look like a slow out, but it actually bends back up. Kind of like a out and up, but not quite. It's a little bit lazier. And so it's not developed yet, right? You can see him turn upfield right there, 87. Burrow does the only thing he really can, which is check it down on a routine throw with a plus pocket movement, but that's not going to be enough, and the Bills are going to get a shot at this thing. So the Bengals are going to get the ball back, and they got to kill some clock. And rather than run the ball, they're going to throw short passes. That's a lot of trust in Burrow. However, I want you to look at how soft this coverage is by the Bills, right? People are hanging off, and that's fear because they're afraid that T. Higgins is going to cut this upfield, and they're going to be screwed. Watch it again. Look at all the cushion they give him. Watch this linebacker pass this receiver off. Wide open. Just hanging out. Tons of time in the pocket for Burrow. Soft coverage. Easy throw. Remember that little fake screen they ran earlier? Same goddamn thing. And again, a super routine throw, super easy, guaranteed yards. That fake screen is brilliant stuff. This throw is pathetic. Terrible throw. That's the super accurate elite quarterback, right? Come on. Here we're going to have easily Joe Burrow's best throw of the night, arguably his only truly good throw. Certainly his only great throw. You got some motion to tell you what the coverage is going to be, and then Joe Burrow drops it in there. And again, it's arguably underthrown, but he fits it between the safety and the corner. That's really nice. It's 20 yards downfield. It's very catchable. Jamar Chase is just so incredible at tracking the ball that, look right here. Right here, you would assume if most quarterbacks are throwing this ball, it's going to lead him up the sideline. It's going to land way over here, and it's going to be a touchdown, right? But Jamar Chase knows Joe Burrow doesn't have it like that. His arm's not strong. He's going to sit me down. He's going to be safe, make sure I catch it, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 yards downfield, and I'll get out of bounds, move the fucking chains. Again, great throw by Burrow. That being said, there was an elite throw to make if you want to score some points. That being said, I'll always take a great throw over a missed ball, right? Rather underthrow than overthrow. Good job, Joe Burrow. It's not elite, it's not special, but it's very good. It's great. A lot of the time, people tell me that the reason Joe Burrow doesn't have to do much special is because he's actually so smart that he just makes all the easy plays every time. Well, right here, he's got two wide open receivers in 83 and 1, right? Boyd and Chase. His first two reads, both wide open. He stares at him and doesn't like it. Now he's looking at the middle of the field. There's nobody in the middle of the field. He's looking at the rush. He's scared. And here he's backpedaling for no reason. And because he's waited so long, Chase is now covered, and Boyd is literally waiting for the ball to come out because he's finished his route. So now Burrow has to throw the ball away. That's not a plus pocket move. Good job throwing the ball away, but that play was blown up because you made a bad decision. Well, watch his eyes right here. Right here, he's looking at Chase and Boyd. They're in the same, vision line, and they're both open. Here, he turns and faces the rush because he's scared. He's looking down. That's bad pocket management. And that's why I'm not giving a plus pocket move for making a mistake and throwing the ball away on what could have been a pretty easy completion for probably a first down. That being said, he throws the routine RPO here, and I know what you're going to think. That looks like a pretty tight window. That's a really nice throw. And that's what we always think with RPOs. But that's why they make wide copies, because it turns out RPOs are really easy. That's not covered. That's a wide open throw. RPOs are super easy. Quick slants are super easy. And the Bengals are under center, which means it's a run, because Joe Burrow never passes out of under center. He only passes out of shotgun. Now watch this incredible processing. Throws the flat. It's a routine throw. It's a routine decision. It's not impressive. Watch his eyes. He looks at Jamar Chase for a second. No, he doesn't even. He never leaves. He never leaves that side of the field. He's looking one. I'll show you what he looked at. Right, so it's going to be like this. T. Higgins runs a curl. Tight end runs a flat. Joe Burrow looks one. It's not there. He goes two. That's not great processing. That's great play design. That's things working out nicely. Right here he's looking at Chase, or Higgins rather. He's not open. I mean, he kind of is open, but he's not really open. The flat's open-er. Tight end makes a play. Come on. Can't give Joe Burrow credit for these things. That's extremely easy, extremely routine. And again, another batted ball. Lack of urgency, lack of velocity. Right here is lazy. It's a bad ball. All the Bengals need to do is churn some clock. So naturally they throw way deep downfield, and Joe Burrow makes probably his second best throw of the day. Again, curls open underneath. Joe Burrow wants more, and he gets it because he makes a nice throw. That's good, arguably great. Good job, Joe Burrow. So we're going to be a little gracious, and that last throw to end the game, effectively, we're going to call it great because people are going to call me a hater anyway. Might as well give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Also, that sack, it was on the border. It was almost Joe Burrow's fault. But again, we're going to be nice to Joe Burrow because Lord knows everybody in the media is. And we're going to say it's not his fault. That leaves us with two great throws, right? Neither of them were optimal, but they were both good. They were both very good. In fact, they were both great. I gave him 7 solid throws, almost all of them, mind you, on 8 to 10 yard curls that were open and plays in which his big-bodied receivers boxed out defensive backs. Joe Burrow also hit 23 routine passes. Good job. Nice accuracy. And 7 bad passes. Okay. He also had the dropped pick. It would have been a tough pick, but anytime the ball hits the safety in 2 hands, I feel like it should be picked. As I mentioned earlier, he's got a sack that isn't his fault. He had 2 throwaways, one of which was a little close. We'll give it to him, but it was like a yard away from being a pick on accident, a Blake Bortles. A Blake Bortles is when you try to throw the ball away and you accidentally throw a pick. He had 1 positive run, really good job, we went over it, and 1 negative run. He audibled into a QB sneak and then failed by running directly into the nose tackle. Yikes. He manipulated the pocket pretty well with 10-plus pocket moves, giving him, on the day, a C+. Now, you might be saying a C+ is kind of low, isn't it? I mean, he was accurate on over 80% of his passes. Well, a C+ is a game that a solid quarterback will give you. A Dak Prescott, a guy who's on the fringe of being like a franchise quarterback or maybe a little bit below. What did Joe Burrow do that was impressive in this game? I mean, yeah, they won, but they only scored like 24 points, and that's despite a red zone turnover by Josh Allen, right? They gifted you points right there. They settled for field goals a lot because Joe Burrow wasn't completing balls. He didn't throw downfield. Almost everything was a screen or a quick hitter. Is this game really that much different if they had put in Dak Prescott or Andy Dalton? I don't think so. Burrow produced a positive play just as often as he produced a negative play. His accuracy was good, but it was a lot of cheap plays, right? 57% of his plays were cheap plays, which just means routine throws and neutral runs. None of his plays were neutral runs, so it was all routine throws. And that's what Joe Burrow's done a lot this year. It's just another game where Joe Burrow relied on routine throws. He had 23 of them in this game on 42 dropbacks. Now, that's nice because he's completing balls, but it's also not impressive because anybody can do this. The league average NFL starter throws 34.5% routine throws. Joe Burrow's at 44.8%, and that's despite a really rocky start where he barely could complete a pass. Now, that's nice because he's completing passes, but it's not helpful because anybody can complete them, right? If I can go get Kyle Orton out of retirement to complete screen passes, why am I paying Joe Burrow $50 million? Now, in that same vein, the league average starter is throwing 17.3% bad passes and 2.8% interceptable ones. Now, Joe Burrow dots that line on interceptable passes. He throws exactly the league average rate at 2.8. But he's throwing 27.3% bad passes. This is a lot of numbers. It means that most of the time Joe Burrow's throwing routine balls. He does it way more than normal. But he's also throwing as many bad balls as any quarterback in the league. He throws almost no elite downfield passes. He has very few great passes to that second level of the defense. And almost all of his solid passes are exactly as I showed you in that video, 8 to 10 yard curls. So what is he providing a team that the average starter couldn't? The answer, in my opinion, is nothing. And yes, he's been a lot better in weeks 8 and 9 against the 49ers and Bills. And that's tough because those are good teams. But the Bills defense is in shambles, totally bereft of talent due to injuries. And the 49ers are just a mess. Granted, Joe Burrow played really well against them. I would love to hear in the comments because I know I get called a hater for this all the time. But what did you think Joe Burrow did in this game? On the film, not what he said in the locker room, not the gravitas and the moxie that he brings to a team. What did he do on the film that was really impressive? Because after about 5 or 6 weeks of terrible fucking football, people are starting to say he should be MVP again. And frankly, I'm at my wit's end. Hit me in the comments, leave a timestamp, tell me where I'm wrong. I defy you. Until next time, I'll be watching football games. Hasta.